may contain language of an adult nature. Listener discretion is advised.
Views and opinions expressed on the following program are those of the hosts and guests, and not necessarily those of the staff or management of alltalkradio.net.
Welcome to Dante's Boxing Nation Show, here on alltalkradio.net. Now here's your host, Dante.
What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the Dante's Boxing Nation Show. I am your host, Dante, and my special guests today are Mr. Ego, Ego's World. You can tune in and watch him on YouTube, and my man AK, aka Rap King. Some of the best channels on YouTube, and my special guest over here in the studio right here with me right now is my other son, Genesis Williams. Matter of fact, we're heading to the gym. He's going to be training right after we leave the studio, sparring with 21-year-old kids, and he's only 14, so Genesis Williams is in the house. Now, my very, very special guest, this man right here is the WBO junior middleweight champion of the world, Mr. Demetrius Andrade, is on the phone with us. Welcome to the show, man.
What's going on, man? Thank you for having me.
All right, welcome to the show, guys. And before we start talking about a whole lot of boxing talk, we got a whole lot of stuff to talk about. First of all, let me go ahead and shout out the sponsors. I want to say what's up to Box Fan Expo. Now, guys, we are having the very first Box Fan Expo out here in Las Vegas. Mike Tyson, Sean Porter, they're all going to be there. If you guys want to hang out with your favorite fighters, go ahead and go to the description box in my link that's going to be on this video, and you guys can purchase tickets. That's going to be September 13th, okay? All right, let's go ahead and get into it, man. So first things first, Demetrius, I got to holler at you about your boy Lara. You guys been going back and forth on Twitter. Go ahead and share with the fans exactly what you guys been talking about. How's that conversation? How did it take place on Twitter?
That's funny. Yeah, man, just trying to get a fight, man. Just trying to make something happen, you know. Trying to get back in before the year is up, and it's hard because I think I scared a lot of people with my last performance. But I'm just having fun with it, man. I'm calling out everybody, whoever wants it, any given time, man. I'm ready, and it has to be one of the top elite fighters because that's what I'm looking for, is to be the best at the 157 division. So that's what I'm looking for, man.
I hear you. What you think about the Twitter situation, Ego?
I personally love it. I'm all for just boxing and just going back to the old school, the throwback, the call-outs, and that's what my man Demetrius has been doing. He says he wants to fight the best. He's eager for those shots, and I say he has a belt. There's other people with belts in the division. Give him those big shots, so I'm all for it. I'm on board, and I'll support it.
Okay. You got any questions for him, guys?
Yeah, I want to go ahead and ask Demetrius Andrade something. First of all, Demetrius Andrade, I want to thank you for calling out everybody and showing that you're a real champion. Only few fighters today does that. But watching Erislandy Lara, last couple performances, him versus Canelo and him versus Austin Trot, what do you see as his biggest strengths and biggest weaknesses?
I can't give out. I can give out the goods. I can give out the goods. I give you a little bit of the goods. That I like about Lara, just watching him and learn how he has a lot of patience, and he likes to throw straight punches. He has to post out that jab and try to counter or time or get accurate with that left-hand shot, as you see that he loves to do. But I didn't really watch the Alvarez fight because I was actually in London supporting one of my dad's fighters, Vadim Bounty, that fought Colin Smith. I was out there during that time. But when I came back to the house, my dad was watching the fight, and I seen when I went through, it was the fourth round, and all I see was your boy Rios just running around in the ring, and then stopping and pop shopping 3 shots, like, get off me, and start dancing, running around again. And I'm like, man, that's a boring fight, 1. 2, it's entertaining for the people. I don't even know how like, I don't even know how they even, want to even fight over. If they wanted to fight a southpaw that had a name and had a belt, they should have put Demetrius Andrade. Like, real talk. Like, we should skip the bullshit. Not screw my limits. I'm tired of, like, running after people and doing all this other stuff. When E.J. Smith was a champ, everybody in his mind was calling him out.
That's a good point. That's a good point. Real good point. Hey,
now they got a real hungry that been in the game for a long time and been winning for a very long time as well, and just staying focused. If I'm not the best, if Roman's the best, Canelo's the best, Mayweather's the best, they shouldn't have no problem stepping in the ring with me and put me away. If that's the case, I got a belt. They should be able to, like, well, let me go beat down Demetrius Andrade, take his belt, and let's go on to the next.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, D, Lara, he also said he'll beat you like he did, before in the amateurs. I want to know, man, what do you remember about that fight, and what tournament was it that you guys actually fought each other in?
That's not funny. That's pretty funny how he, like, keeps running with that amateur fight that he had. And if this fight does happen, I say it like this: 1, I would like to fight Lara because he has a good name. 2, he's going to. It might say, I don't know how it's going to pan out to be, but I will get the W. But I'm not trying to be, drag away free, so I'm trying to catch this kid. But I fought him when I was 16 years old. I was 16. I think he's like 6 years older than me at that time. How old is he now? He's like 30 what? 32? 30.
Yeah, so he would have been like 22 or something like that. You said he's like 6 years older than you?
Yeah, he's like 30. Yeah, he's like 6 years, 5 years old. 16. I fought him in the Pan Am in Venezuela in the finals. My first year fighting, nigga, all the way to the finals. Beat everybody, blowing them out, killing them, right? So I get in there with the Cuban guy, and I didn't know who he was at the time. I just, a Cuban guy, I'm going to fight and beat and just walk away with it. Just to make a long story short, the end of the fight, the score was 4-9. I scored, landed 4 punches in 4 rounds. I only hit him 1 per round. How in the world does that happen?
Yeah.
That's one. And I have it on CD right now in my household. I have it, so if this fight does happen, I can show the world what that fight looked like, so he can really stop saying he beat me in the amateurs, making it seem like he like beat me down. I hit him with a clean 1-2, and after that, he was running like he was doing all night with Canelo, and he wasn't pop shotting me. Tell you that.
Yeah. Well, speaking of the Canelo-Lara fight, who do you think? I know you believe Lara was running, but who do you think actually won the fight? Who deserved to win the fight, in your opinion?
Fight, man. She not 4th round and just walked away, and I was like, yeah, let me know what happened. Let me less than happens. Like, I'm gonna go on my day and night. Like, I'm good. I sit here watching this.
Yeah. So you never end up watching it.
No, walked in on the 4th round when my dad was watching the fight, and I just seen him running. Canelo was trying to walk him down, some body shots, and I was like, was this like pretty much the whole fight? He was like, yes. I was like, well, it ain't gonna change, so I'm out.
I heard that. You guys got anything on that, Ego?
Yeah, I mean, I want to ask another question. Demetrius Andrade, if you ever fight, Andrade Lara, hopefully, do you think that you will be the aggressor, or will it be a boxing match? What do you think?
I'm going in there to win, baby. If he wants to sit there and try to do this boxing thing, I'm going to walk his ass down and manhandle him and show him that, this is my ring, I can do it all. If he wants to try to bring it to me, he's going to walk right into my 1-2 all day. So it doesn't matter. Do it all, man. I'm not worried about boxing. I ain't worried about banging. I'm I'm going to do what I need to do, and that's adapt to the situation and come out with the W.
I heard that.
Okay, and I got a question for you. I interviewed you before, Demetrius, and you said you beat both Canelo and Erislandy Lara. So, based on your style and what you've seen in both, you've been in the ring with Lara, who do you think provides more of a challenge for you? Would it be Lara because he does the running or the moving, or would it be Canelo just because he's young, strong, and does a good body punching, body work, and a combination? Which out of those two do you think would create more of a stylistic challenge for you to break down?
Well, just based off what they do, you know, I'm gonna have to say Lara will be more of a challenge because he's gonna be running the whole night. So therefore, I have to chase him down like I did Vargas Martirosyan. When I fought Vargas Martirosyan, I beat him with just my jab, and the whole night the man was just making circles and circles and circles and circles and holding in circles and circles. So that's pretty much what I'm gonna go against, and that fight with Vargas is almost an ideal fight of me fighting Lara because Lara is not going to sit in the pocket and do anything. Now with Canelo, since he is going to fight down, show that he is strong, he is the almighty Mexican hero, he's going to it's just going to be for me because he's just going to sit there and I know how to counterpunch, and I'm prepared to get hit when I go be running around all night.
Yeah. Let me ask you this, Demetrius. Has there been any talks? Have you guys reached out with Lara's team or any other team to try to make some type of fight come to fruition?
I mean, we've been shouting and shouting and shouting and shouting and shouting at everybody. Let's see. At the end of the year, you know, if it's not one of these guys because they're not ready, then hopefully by the new year we can make some fireworks pop off early for, you know, the year coming.
Okay, but hold on one second. But I was just wondering, did you actually have any promoter actually try to reach out to his people, or are you guys just, is it really just a Twitter thing right now? Have you guys like really tried to reach out to him on, you know, a promoter type level?
I mean, my promoters, they know who the big names, who the best caliber fighters are, who the elite guys. They know who to go after. They know who I want. They know who I've been calling out. They're on the same track. You know, their job is to, you know, negotiate and make everything happen at my asking. So therefore, they know go holler at Lara. They know go holler at Canelo. Because they know go holler at Cotto. So they know these things, and I hope they're on their job doing it, because if not, then, you know, that's not good for boxing.
I hear you. Go ahead, AK.
Yeah, I just want to ask Demetrius Andrade. I heard that you fought Keith Thurman in the amateurs and you beat him twice. Was that true?
Yeah, I actually fought Keith Thurman 3 times in the amateurs.
Oh, okay.
You know, it was a bang-out war. He actually, you know, won that fight. You know, they gave it to him. And then once we got a little older, it was in the finals actually for the junior gloves. I think it was years ago. And then for the Olympic trials, I beat him back-to-back.
Interesting.
What was it, 152?
Say again?
What weight was it? Was it 152?
When I fought him in Olympics, yeah, 152.
Oh, okay.
Nice.
And how would you rate Keith Thurman's power back then from what you remember? Is it the real deal?
I mean, it's hard. I can't be the judge of that. You know, when I seen the kid fight, he was knocking everybody out or down or whatever the situation is. He'll get knocked down and he'll get back up, and it'll be all out wheels every time he fought. But when I got in there, you know, I just used my boxing ability, my defense, sat inside, and just, you know, he wings punches. So the best thing to do is get low, have a compact defense, and, you know, rip in between, and then keep it outside. So, I mean, he never hurt me at no point, never dropped me, like, at that time. So, I mean, I really, you know, I can't judge it. What he does with everybody else is different than what I take.
Man, you got any of those fights on DVD or anything like that, Demetrius?
Do I have that fight on DVD?
Yeah.
You can just call up USA Boxing. They probably have that one in the books, in the history books, in the jail somewhere.
Now,
they got a little office for old fights and stuff like that. So it might actually be on. It might be on YouTube actually. If you look up 2008 Olympic trials finals, they had it on TV. So
oh, okay.
On YouTube.
Good to know. Real good to know. Now, let me ask you this, D. I interviewed Andre Ward the other day, and he was talking about the situation, how a lot of fighters, they don't want to fight him. And he basically said, you know, if I was fighting in a different era, like a Marvin Hagler or a Nigel Benn era, you know, no one would just let me be pound for pound number 2. They would want to come after that. But, you know, fighters today, they don't even want to chase the guy that's at the top of the mountain. Is that the way you kind of see it right now, D? With your situation, you're like at the top, and people are not really coming after you like that.
Yeah, you know, Andre Ward, he definitely, you know, showed his ability and his heart and his will, and got to where he got to. You know, I don't know who's in store for his weight class. If he can get a catch weight at some of them 60 boys and fight them at I don't know, 64, 65, maybe there will be some great fights. But, you know, I'm going to be able to jump up from, you know, 54 to 60 sometime within my career. But, yeah, I understand what you're saying. Like, how everybody want to be the best but don't want to fight the best or put in the work to be the best or be the greatest. Mm-hmm. And that's the stuff that, you know, that me and him are stuck in the boat where it's like, all right, so nobody, okay, just because he's Mexican, he got the whole country following him, and that makes him the best, but he don't want to fight the best person out there? Like, that doesn't make no sense.
No, it doesn't make any sense at all, man. So, what do you,
right.
go ahead, guys.
I got a quick question, Dante, for Demetrius. Not to switch gears too much, but Miguel Cotto, he's a people's champ, he has a deep resume, and he fights at 160, one fight of 160, 154. He said he doesn't want to go under that. So, Miguel Cotto, they're talking about making a fight with Andy Lee. I want to know your opinion on that. And I also want to see a potential fight with you and Miguel Cotto, because it doesn't look like he really wants to stay at middleweight and fight maybe a Gennady Golovkin. So, I know you're interested in the big fight. So, tell us about a Demetrius Andrade versus Miguel Cotto fight.
Hey, man, I've been calling him out, too. I'll definitely take him at 54 or 60. You know, he got a belt. He got the WBC at that. And that's, you know, something that will be nice on my resume. But, you know, it just the more fact that, you know, if it's time to jump up to 160 right now to do that, and if I'm going to be comfortable and I just want to stay there, or do I, you know, keep making the force be reckoned with me at 154 because I've been there for so long. I just want to, you know, that was one of my, you know, short-term dreams was to unify the division, at least one of them, and then move on up. But, yeah, definitely a Cotto fight would be nice. I will definitely accept it.
Yeah, hopefully somebody step up, man, eventually. Somebody going to have to step up eventually, man. So, I mean, Canelo. Let me ask you this. You being a junior middleweight, D, you have Canelo, who hasn't made weight at junior middleweight in his last 2 fights. Why do you think he's trying to stay there if he can't make the weight?
You know, just you know, keep it 100. There's no belt on the line on the eliminator. You know, why make 54 if he can fight at 55, 56?
Okay.
Money, or whatever. You know what I'm saying? That's it. I haven't really, all my fights I didn't fight at 54. You know, I fought them at, like, within 54 to 59, or, you know, through some of my fights. But if there's no belt on the line and both parties agree to be at a certain weight, then, you know, there's nothing wrong with that. But if he says he can make 54 when it comes down to making 54 by a title shot, then he can make it. If not, then we're all going to know what happens. But that doesn't even matter. I don't care what weight to fight Canelo. It could be any weight. We could just fight because he's supposed to be the best, and I want to be the best, and so therefore, who else is there for me to be fighting out there?
Yeah, absolutely. I hear you. So do you think he's even comfortable at the weight, or you think it's just the fact that he figured there's no reason to make it if there's no belt on the line?
Exactly. I feel like, just, being a fighter and having to make weight all the time for no reason, I would say that, if there's no belt on the line, there's no reason to make 54.
I hear you.
Mayweather got the 147 and the 54 going at the same time. Like, how does that happen?
Yeah.
Hey,
go ahead, Ego, AK.
It doesn't make no sense. It's like, okay, Mayweather 47, 54. It's like, yo, now I got to sit here and I'm over here like, yo, Mayweather, either throw that 47 and give the belt up so I can go on and make my legacy and be the best I can be, or you going to sit there and hold on to him as a little girl and try to make people make 52 instead of 54, and then you can't go up no more than 5 pounds. That's some better shit that he did with Canelo. You feel me? But it's like, yo, man, get the belt up or fight Demetrius Andrade at 154, and let's get it popping, man. You're the best, too.
I hear you.
You think?
You said holding the belts hostages.
Go ahead, AK.
Yeah, you think the surprise for me that Floyd talked about, is it you, Demetrius Andrade, or Pacquiao?
Say that again?
Yeah, you think that, Floyd Mayweather talked about that he has a surprise fight for May. Do you think it's you or Manny Pacquiao?
Well, I mean, hopefully it is me. But honestly, if I was Mayweather, I wouldn't get in there with Demetrius Andrade, man. If I was him, I would just give up the 54 belt, let the 54 people go at it and do their thing, and let that boy go retire undefeated, because he done did his thing for many years now. Let it go. But if he wants to get brave now, it's a guys.
Yeah, and I'll say for the record, I don't think Floyd Mayweather's going to get in the ring with you, especially because you have a style that's real similar to his. The only difference is you're a southpaw and you're just a little bit bigger than him. But let me ask you this. When you were there training at the gym, what kind of conversations did you have? Because you were at his gym training and everything.
No, I haven't seen him in the gym. When I was there, saying, watching them boys is looking, I was like, what? What's up, man? Like, what? I'm here. Okay. Good. What? Trying to gym. Let's go right now. I'm going to smash them, too.
They wasn't trying to hear it, huh? You said they wasn't trying to hear that, huh?
You know what I'm saying? It's all love and stuff like that, man. But, definitely, if he wants to step up, like I tell you now, if it's a step-up fight for me, not him, but the fans, the people of boxing will love a Demetrius Andrade fight and the Floyd Mayweather fight. I believe so. There's nobody else out there for a Canelo Demetrius or a Floyd and Demetrius. Like Madonna, that fight was the first fight, man.
Yeah.
That was the case. Like, yo, if you haven't done a fight, me and win a fight Mayweather. Like, okay, let's do it. I've been saying that.
That would work. That would definitely work. I know you would be Floyd Mayweather's toughest fight, no doubt about it. I can't see anybody else being that competitive with him. But, yeah, man. So hopefully, like I said, one more time, hopefully somebody comes out of hiding and somebody faces you, So hopefully we get a unified type setup eventually, and we just have one real champion at the 154-pound division. So you got anything else you want to say, Demetrius, before I let you go, man?
Well, thank you guys for having me on. God bless you. God bless everybody out there that's listening, that's following, that's been, a long fan of just boxing and all around. You can catch me, Boo 18 is the Instagram, Google Boxing, Twitter, and Demetrius Andrade, the Facebook. Definitely gonna, be the next man to carry the torch when Mayweather is done to retire. If he doesn't take the fight, and if not, I'll just grab it from him and take it from him. So, either way, tune into the boy.
Absolutely, man. And
Demetrius, I got one quick question for you, Demetrius, before you leave. What do you think of Bernard Hopkins facing Kovalev, who is supposed to be the boogeyman in his division? What do you think that statement makes at age 50?
All I would say is that Bernard Hopkins has been shocking the world for a long time now. He gets away with that style. He knows how to, find his groove mentally and physically in the ring. Kovalev, I really haven't seen all his fights. I know he had that one incident, but I believe Hopkins can do whatever he puts his mind to. Man, he's definitely a true champion, a warrior. His age is not affecting him right now, but he's getting in there with heavier guys. So I believe that's what he's doing, and may the best man win. Well, that's my judgment.
Who has the best advantage? You think who has the best advantage?
Who has the best advantage?
Yeah. Who has the best chance, I should say, of winning?
Because he's been around for a long time, and even though when he looks like he shouldn't be winning, he ends up winning. So, he definitely has the advantage, the experience, and he knows how to manipulate the mind and, have guys falling into the shots that he wants them to fall into. And, and he's learning how to be tricky now. He's over here dancing, trying to get his right Jones on, and he's looking pretty good. So, know?
Yeah. Well, yep, it'll be an excellent fight, man. All right, bro. Well, I'm going to let you go, man, and let me know when you come out here to Vegas so we can get you in the studio, man, all right?
Oh, yeah. Thank you once again, man. Thank you.
No problem, man. All right, guys. That was the champion, the WBO junior middleweight champion, and I truly believe that he is going to be at least top 2 pound for pound in the future. You guys agree with that? What do you guys think about that, Ego?
Yeah, anytime you got a guy who's openly on record calling out everybody from Mayweather to Canelo to Lara, and you really don't hear anybody responding to it. So that lets you know that they see something within him. Maybe it's a southpaw, maybe it's his reach or height. He looks real tall for his division. So they obviously see something that they can use the excuse, all of the fighters that he's called out, the Cottos or whatnot, they can use the excuse, he ain't beat nobody, he ain't fought nobody. So, that's only going to last so long. Eventually, the guys like Keith Thurmans and the Demetrius Andrade that keep calling out people, they're going to keep knocking on the door until they get those opportunities. So I think it's just a matter of time, really.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's just hope he gets the big fight. That's all, really.
Yeah.
I think the Lara fight will get made, hopefully, but the other big fights, hopefully they get them made too,
Yeah, that's why I was really trying to push him on the situation to see if there's actually people talking, or is it just, like I said, them just going back and forth, So, anyway, let's go ahead and get into the fights that just took place this past weekend. Let's start with the undercard. So, Jesse Vargas, he wins a unanimous decision over Anton Novikov, and it was by a landslide. AK, were you surprised at the scorecards? Because it's like they damn near had him winning almost every round.
Well, the fight was in Vegas. That's his hometown right there, and you got to knock him out to win, in my opinion, because he definitely didn't win like that. A lot of people feel like he actually lost.
Yeah.
So. In order for you to beat Vasquez, you actually got to knock him out or maybe dominate 11 out of 12 rounds. You know what I'm saying?
Or be another top-ranked fighter, huh? No. Yeah. What did you think about that, Eagle, the scorecards and his performance?
Truthfully, I wasn't really impressed. I thought it was a close fight, competitive fight. There's no damn way it should have went how they said it went. And I just think it's a black eye in the sport. It's bullshit. We all see it. None of us are Ray Charles and Stevie Wonder and shit. We know what we saw. So if you had it by a close margin, okay, that's cool. You gave it to him. But to just act like he just annihilated his opponent, it just doesn't really do anything for the fighter or the fans.
No.
And, the HBO highlights after the fight, they only showed what he did, just the highlights that the good shot that he landed on his opponent, but then he showed his opponent landing on him. You know, so I thought that was interesting too.
Yeah, I mean, right now it looks like Jesse has 9 lives. His last fight before that on the Bradley Pacquiao undercard, it looked like he lost that fight as well. You know, so he's having some issues right now. He is being put in there tough, and just looking at the punch stats, Anton Novikov, he actually landed more, he threw more, and he had a higher percentage. So, you know, it doesn't look good. It doesn't look good for the politics that exist in the sport of boxing. But eventually he's going to step in the ring with someone where no matter how hard they try to hide it, or protect him, I should say, it's going to be very difficult for him. You know, he's going to have to step up his defense because he keeps getting caught. Go ahead.
Just to add on to what you're saying, Dante, one thing that I personally feel is since he left Mayweather Promotions, I feel like his career I think that was a bad move, basically. I think his career's kind of taken a back seat since he left Mayweather Promotion. He was getting ultimate exposure on pay-per-view cards and different things like that. And then ever since then, he fought Lucky Boy and some other fights. I just haven't been too impressed since, I guess, post leaving Mayweather Promotions. That's just my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, you know, we'll see. I mean, because he may only good thing about him going to Top Rank is he may be in line to get the big payday. Of course, you know, the Manny Pacquiao sweepstakes. But outside of that, I feel where you're coming from. Now, before we jump, let's also talk about Jim Lampley's comments during the fight. I don't know if you guys listened to the actual HBO commentary, but Jim Lampley, when Jesse was fighting, he said that he notices that the European Russian fighters, they don't get fair treatment when it comes to judging. And I really found that shocking to hear someone like Jim Lampley say that, because this is an All-American fighter, or Jim Lampley, he's All-American. And when Pacquiao was fighting against Bradley the first time, he's the main guy who only gave Bradley 1 round in that whole fight. So, I mean, is that a little bit of a contradiction right there, or what, Ego?
Yeah, I think, truthfully, it's coming from the wrong person. It's like you have a coworker or something, and he's like, oh, you were late to work, and they always late. It's just like, how you going to tell me about punctuality when you're a frequent offender? So just coming from Lampley, I think that's what is like icing on the cake. It makes it worse because he's bang, bang.
Yeah, bang, bang,
bang king.
The bang,
you know what I'm
bang.
saying? Like, Pacquiao could be missing shots and still get 3 bangs from that. You know what I mean? So it's just coming from the wrong person.
Yeah. What did you think about that, AK?
Yeah, I mean, I feel the same way, man. I really don't have too much to say about it.
Yeah. And I don't want anyone to think that I'm disagreeing, because I actually agree with Jim Lampley where he says there may have been some politics involved, right? I don't believe when he talks about the fact that European or Russian fighters are getting treated unfairly. But if Jim Lampley was that type of person who really cared about people getting treated unfairly, he could have spoke on a whole lot of fighters in the sport of boxing, and that's the whole point that I was making. There's no doubt about it that Kovalev, he definitely got a little bit of a raw deal, messing with Top Rank and everything. But, at the end of the day, it's a whole lot of unfair stuff being done in the sport of boxing, if I could put it that way. So let's go ahead and move.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
Just look at the Lomachenko versus Salido. I mean, they had it really close. I think Salido won by 2 points, and actually one judge gave Lomachenko the fight.
Yeah. Well, that's another thing. That's another example that Jim Lampley was using. He said, if you look at the Gary Russell Lomachenko fight, they had it close, and he was saying it should have been by a landslide. But I mean, I don't really know if I agree with that. I mean, I truly believe that Lomachenko, he won the fight, but at the same time, there were a couple of competitive rounds that could have went either way. So it is what it is. So let's go ahead and fast forward to the Kovalev versus Caparello fight. What did you think about that fight, Ego?
Not much to think. Kovalev handled business inside of 2 rounds. Some people, they were talking about the knockdown. I didn't really think it was a punch that debilitated him. He was just like really didn't know where he was or anything. It looked like he stepped on his foot as well. So I think some people made a little bit bigger of a deal of that. I think it was just a flash knockdown. And his other knockdown in his career was to Boone, who we know is a big puncher. So I wasn't really worried about that. I don't think that that knockdown lessened the Bernard Hopkins fight. Bernard Hopkins is going to have to dig in the crates, dig in his bag of tricks to really produce, because he's in there against a big puncher, and we know he's crafty, so we just have to see the Bernard Hopkins that we've seen against Shumanov and whatnot. As far as the Kovalev fight, he did what he had to do. He filled him out in the first round, and then the second round, he just went to the body and landed a beautiful shot, paralyzed him, and he was never able to recover. One thing I did like about Kovalev in this fight against Caparello was some people get over anxious when they hit that body shot and they know they have you hurt and they start going up top. He showed that veteran spirit by continuing to attack the body and giving himself some space and just land his body shots, because it was just a matter of time after that.
Yeah. I completely agree. Go ahead, AK.
Well, to be honest with you, I think Kovalev kind of a little bit vulnerable for that southpaw style. It'd be interesting if he ever had fought Stevenson first, because actually that's the fight that I really wanted to see first, Stevenson versus Kovalev. You know, I kind of see he kind of vulnerable for that straight left, because he kind of pulled back. He pulled straight back, and if you don't do it with the right distance, that's kind of dangerous a little bit. And that's how he actually got caught. Even though, you know, the guy stepped on his foot, he still caught him with a straight left. But because Hopkins is a southpaw, you know, he's going to be getting caught a lot with that jab. But it's really going to be an interesting fight, because Kovalev don't have the best defense, but he does have a lot of power, and that's something that he could always depend on coming into the late rounds, you know. So we'll see. I mean, Hopkins never been stopped, but Kovalev kind of seemed like he has a different type of power, even though his defense really seemed vulnerable a little bit. But he is kind of improving.
Yeah. And we're going to talk a lot more about the Hopkins versus Kovalev fight in the weeks to come. But I wanted to first just say, before I leave talking about this situation, yeah, you know, it's not a whole lot to say about the Kovalev versus Caparello fight. Yeah, you know, he got knocked down, and it was a little bit of, Caparello's foot bend on top of Kovalev's, but it was an off-balance shot. It was an off-balance shot, and he was wide open, though, for it. He was wide open, so regardless if Caparello's foot was on him or not, he was wide open for the shot, and I could see him being wide open for a lot of punches against Bernard Hopkins. But at the same time, last night I was watching the Nathan Cleverly fight, and I had seen that fight a long time ago, but I forgot about that fight. And when I watched it last night, I was actually surprised that Kovalev could box pretty well. In fact, I mean, he might even be a better boxer than Golovkin from what I seen. And then I ended up watching him spar too. He was sparring with a good slick fighter who had a real good jab, and Kovalev, he looked pretty smart. So my thing is, I truly believe if Kovalev comes in the ring trying to be the aggressor, trying to knock out Hopkins, that's Hopkins' best chance. You know, but if Kovalev goes in there trying to box and stand, you know, and sticking behind that jab, it could be a very, very close fight to call. You know, so that's how I see that one. But let's go ahead and jump into the main event, guys. Brandon Rios versus Diego Chaves, man. A fight that could have had a great ending turned out to be a disastrous ending because of referee Vic Draculich. So, you know, the first thing I want to ask you, Ego, is do you think the fight should have been stopped on a disqualification or what?
Hell no. Simple as that. Hell no. I mean, I thought that, I mean, honestly, the first Diego Chaves point seemed unwarranted. Not that it wasn't, he wasn't doing anything dirty. They both were. They both were doing dirty things. I just feel Vic Draculich never had control of that fight. It's like, I made a post-fight video. When you see people at the supermarket, little parents with their kids, and their kids are just running wild, like knocking magazines off the shelf and stuff, that's Vic Draculich to me. He had no control over what was going on. He didn't establish himself as, like, I'm the referee, listen to my commands. There's a similar fight that started off really rough and tumble like that, Andre Ward versus Edwin Rodriguez. There was tension. They had troubles making weight. But if you watch that referee, I forgot who it was off the top of my head, but if you watch that fight, he took a point from both Ward and also from Edwin Rodriguez, established control and said, none of that. There's not going to be any of that on my watch. You guys listen to me or you both get disqualified. And he gave those hard warnings, and he made himself abundantly clear what his next move would be. Vic Draculich, to me, it was just like he was all over the place. Like, one point, then it looked like he felt bad for giving Chaves a point. Then he gave Brandon Rios a point. Then he disqualified Chaves. It was just all over. It was really like some Vince McMahon WWE, like, ladder match or something. It was just crazy to me.
Yeah. And go ahead. What you think about that, AK? So should they have stopped it or what?
Nah, man, I definitely don't. I mean, that was a disgrace to boxing because even the first, like the first point he took off from Chaves for holding. Who takes off points for holding like that right away?
Right away.
They didn't take any points from Lomachenko when he was holding Salido the whole time, or even Pacquiao was holding Rios, and you got Alexander. If I remembered when he fought Maidana, he clinched him 117 times through the whole fight.
Yeah.
And, they didn't no points off of that, so they shouldn't have took points off of that. And Rios brought the dirty tactics to the fight. He was leading with his head first, hitting behind the back, and behind his head too. And Chaves returned the favor. So, like I said, I don't even feel like when Rios when he wrestled him kinda and Chaves failed. I don't even feel like he should have took off point for that from Rios. But like I said, I didn't agree with that. I just didn't like the referee, period. And when I saw your post-fight video, when you talked about the referee, I forgot what the fight that you were talking about.
Jesse Brinkley, Jesse Brinkley fight, yeah.
When that fighter hit him with a body shot and he fell down, and the referee was telling him say it was a low blow. So I mean, it's crazy, like
corruption. I mean, and
I have a.
Go ahead, AK.
I'm sorry. I was just going to say real quick, I even posted this on my Instagram. A funny little tidbit about the whole Vic Draculich thing is Vic Draculich, if you guys remember, he was the one that refereed Amir Khan versus Luis Collazo. That fight had a very similar tone. Guys didn't really like each other. Amir Khan held a ton of times in clinching. Luis Collazo, if you guys remember, kept complaining to the ref. Then Khan was complaining, saying Collazo was coming in with his head low and getting in the headlock and stuff. And that was the same referee. Vic Draculich refereed that fight. Plus, to make matters worse, that was on the Mayweather pay-per-view card, so there was a lot at stake. So I just find it amazing that Vic Draculich was able to handle a fight like Collazo Khan at 147, so a little bit bigger guys. Oh, I guess Rios and Diego Chaves was at 147 too. But point being, he was able to control and assert himself as a referee in a fight that was almost the same type of pace, the same type of tone. But in this Diego Chaves-Rios fight, it was like anarchy. And Brandon Rios is cussing, and Diego Chaves is complaining. They're both complaining, and he just never had control. So I thought it was weird.
Yeah, it was real weird. That's a real good point, because he didn't take any points away in that in the Amir Khan fight, right?
Yeah, and Khan held a lot, and then Collazo was coming in with his head a lot. So it was the same type of setup if you look at those two fights. And Vic Draculich was the ref to both, and somehow, some way, he got it done and was able to ref it to the point where we actually got to see a traditional ending instead of some DQ. When's the last time you guys even remember seeing a disqualification?
It's been a long time. It's been a long. Go ahead, okay.
He was the same referee for Floyd Mayweather versus Castillo. I think Castillo won.
Yeah. I mean, and it just surprised me that the commission, they were actually defending him. I mean, of course it was a rough fight. But the fact that you do it in the 9th round, when the fight is almost over and we, are about to get a conclusion to the fight, that's when you decide to do this. It kind of reminds me of Richard Steele. That's what it reminds me of. It reminds me of Richard Steele stopping the Meldrick Taylor fight 2 seconds before the final bell rings. It's almost like a rush to do it. And the fact that you bring up that Amir Khan situation is perfect, because it shows that Vic Draculich is not consistent, So he's not a consistent person or referee, I should say, in the ring. I mean, where was he at when John Ruiz was fighting? Where was he at all them times Klitschko was fighting, right? We ain't seen too many points get deducted from Klitschko. Or your boy Carlos Molina. So, yeah.
What do y'all...
Go ahead.
Yeah, I was going to say, what do y'all think of Rio saying he just wanted a clean fight, that Chaves was fighting dirty and he didn't like that, and Robert Garcia himself said that, that he wanted a clean fight. But when you know, he said when Maidana fought Floyd, he would tell him Maidana be dirty, do whatever to win, you know, and he even told Floyd Mayweather in the press conference that this fight is going to be even worse, you know, the rematch. So now he won a clean fight, and Rios was the one who brought, you know, the dirty tactics to the fight. So what's your thoughts about that?
Man, go ahead, Ego.
I mean, it's really just the same thing. Like, I just don't like when the ref interjects himself into the fight and influences the outcome. Like, let the stuff play out. If someone's doing something, like, clearly illegal and you've given them warnings and there's just no other way around it, you got to do what you got to do. I don't think that was the case with this. Some fighters just don't like each other. Some, like, Maidana can't beat Floyd by pure boxing. So he's going to have to do whatever he thinks he can do in order to rough him up and all that. So that was their game plan all along. And as a trainer, Garcia knows that, and it's not consistent. You know what I mean? You wanted Maidana to fight that way, and then Diego Chaves does stuff, and your fighter Rios is also doing it. So, I mean, it is what it is. I just feel like let the guys fight at the end of the day.
Yeah, and we got 1 minute left, guys, but I do want to say this. I mean, how many times have we seen this situation where a fighter or a trainer, they come out, they say something ridiculous, and then they turn right around and contradict themselves? I mean, this was the situation. This is a situation with Robert Garcia, like AK just pointed out. 1 minute you're calling Floyd Mayweather all kind of chickens and cowards and all this kind of stuff. He was crying, talking about we was fighting dirty. We're going to be even more dirty in the rematch, and said all of this kind of stuff. And then all of a sudden, because I was there live, soon as this fight gets stopped, now Robert Garcia, he running all across the ring, trying to run after Diego Chaves. I mean, be consistent with the situation. You know, we've seen this so many times play out where people contradict themselves. So, you know, that's what it is, man. This was a case of karma for Brandon Rios and Robert Garcia, and we'll see what happens in the future. But I am very interested in seeing who Rios fights next, because I thought he looked pretty good. That performance kind of reminded me of Rios versus Anthony Peterson, believe it or not. I thought, you know, he's not a perfect fighter, and he's still easy to hit. He's still somewhat of a punching bag, but he looked a lot better in this fight. So we'll go ahead and wrap it up with that right there. And once again, I want to say thanks to both of my guests and my special guest, Mr. Demetrius Andrade, for showing up online. You guys can also tune in and subscribe to my man Ego's World and A.K.A. Rap King. And my son, both of my boys in the studio with me, Genesis Williams and Remesis Williams. We're about to head to the gym right now, guys. On to the next one.
Please take away the pain and the ante. And now we're ready for the marathon 10